Ind AS 32 or IAS 32 lays down the accounting principles for classifying a financial instrument as either a financial liability or equity instrument or both. Now, this classification is governed by the substance of a contract and not its legal form. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Ratio Acumen. This is Harshal Patil. I am a chartered accountant, and in this video we'll understand how and on what basis an item is classified as financial liability or equity or both. Before we begin, do subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get notified about the short and informative content which will up your acumen. We will now understand the accounting principles based on which the instruments are classified as either financial liability or equity. Before we begin, it is important to note that classification of financial liabilities under Ind AS 32 or IAS 32 is done from the perspective of the issuer and not from the perspective of the holder. A financial liability arises when the financial instrument satisfies two conditions. The first condition is that there is a contractual obligation to deliver cash or another financial asset to another entity, or to exchange financial instruments with another entity under conditions that are potentially unfavorable to the issuer. Or the second condition that needs to be fulfilled is that the instrument will or may be settled in the entity's own equity instrument and is a non-derivative for which the entity is or may be obliged to deliver a variable number of entity's own equity instruments, or it is a derivative that will or may be settled other than by exchange of a fixed amount of cash or another financial asset for a fixed amount of entity's own equity instruments. Here, either of the conditions need to be fulfilled for an instrument to be classified as financial liability. And for the financial instrument to fall under the category of equity instruments, the instrument must also fulfill two conditions. The first condition is that the instrument contains no contractual obligation to exchange financial instruments with another entity under conditions that are potentially unfavorable to the issuer. And the second condition that needs to be fulfilled is that the instrument will or may be settled in entity's own equity instrument and is a non-derivative that includes no contractual obligation for the issuer to deliver a variable number of entity's own equity instruments, or it is a derivative that will or may be settled only by exchange of fixed amount of cash or another financial asset for a fixed number of entity's own equity instruments. Here, both the conditions need to be fulfilled for an instrument to be classified as an equity instrument. As you can see, these two principles of classification are an exact opposite of one another. From this, we can understand that when a contract is settled in a variable number of entities' own equity instruments, or by the entity exchanging a fixed number of its own equity instruments for a variable amount of cash or another financial asset, then the contract is not considered as an equity instrument. The accounting standards, that is Ind AS 32 or IAS 32, provides exceptions to the principle of classifying the instrument as financial liability. These exceptions are in the form of putable instruments and obligations arising on liquidation. Before we dive into this, let us understand the term putable instrument. Now, a putable instrument is a financial instrument that gives the holder the right to put the instrument back to the issuer for cash or another financial asset, or it is automatically put back to the issuer on the occurrence of an uncertain future event or the death or retirement of the instrument holder. Here, the term put back to the issuer refers to the redemption of the instrument. One such example of putable instrument is open-ended mutual funds, which gives holders the right to redeem their interest in the enterprise at any time for an amount of cash equal to the proportionate share of the net asset value of the entity. Coming back to the exceptions to the classification of financial instruments, financial instruments that contain an obligation of the issuer to deliver cash or on the financial asset are classified as financial liabilities. So as per this principle, putable financial instruments and instruments that create an obligation only on liquidation of the entity shall be classified as financial liabilities. However, Ind AS 32 or IAS 32 contains an exception whereby such instruments are classified as equity despite the fact that they otherwise meet all the conditions for financial liability. Now there are conditions which the financial instrument must fulfill to qualify for this exception, but we'll keep those conditions for another video. In certain cases, a financial instrument may need to be classified as financial liability, but only in the event of occurrence or non-occurrence of some uncertain future event. This event may be within the control of the issuer or holder or beyond the control of both. Now these type of contractual arrangements are referred to as contingent settlement provisions. In order to classify such contingent settlement provisions, we need to identify whether the contingent event is within the control of the issuer. If it is under the control of the issuer, then we should classify it under equity. If not, then we must assess whether the part of the contingent settlement provision that indicates liability classification is genuine or not. If it is not genuine, then classify it as equity. If it is genuine, then we have to check whether the obligation needs to be settled only at the event of liquidation of the issuer. If yes, then classify under equity. If not, then we'll have to check whether the instrument has all the features and meets all the conditions relating to the exceptions to financial liability classification. If it meets all the conditions relating to the exception, then we must classify it as equity, else it is a financial liability. Now, as we had discussed earlier, certain financial instruments are also settled in entities' own equity instruments. Now, if the consideration for financial instrument is fixed and the number of own equity shares issued to settle the obligation is variable, then such financial instrument is classified under financial liability, as the own equity instruments are being used as currency to settle an obligation for a fixed amount. If the consideration for financial instrument is fixed and the number of own equity shares issued to settle the obligation is also fixed, then such financial instrument is classified as equity, as the issuer does not have an obligation to pay cash and holder is not exposed to any variability. If the consideration for financial instrument is variable and the number of own equity shares issued to settle the obligation is fixed, then such financial instrument is classified as financial liability, as the issuer even though does not have an obligation to pay cash, but the holder in this case is exposed to variability. If the consideration for financial instrument is variable and the number of own equity shares issued to settle the obligation is also variable, then such financial instrument is classified as financial liability, as the issuer even though does not have an obligation to pay cash, but in this case both issuer and holder are exposed to variability. Now in the second case that we discussed can also be referred to as fixed for fixed test, that is fixed amount of cash or other financial asset for fixed number of own equity instruments. Let's move to the category of financial instruments which contain both a liability component as well as an equity component. Such instruments are called as compound financial instruments. One such example of compound financial instrument is convertible bonds. Convertible bonds are primary financial liability of the issuer which grant an option to the holder to convert them into equity instruments in the future. Let us take a look at an illustration wherein we'll split the compound financial instrument into a liability and equity component. Now in this case, A Limited issues 2000 convertible $1,000 bonds at par on 1st Jan 2020. Interest is payable in arrears at a nominal interest rate of 6%. The prevailing market rate of interest at the date of issue of bond was 9%. And the bond is redeemable on 31st December 2022. Now in this case, we'll first compute the present value of principal repayable in 3 years' time by multiplying the principal value with the discounting factor at the end of 3rd year. Then we'll compute the present value of interest stream by multiplying the annual interest with cumulative 3 years discounting factor. When we add up these two present values, we'll get the total liability component. Now in order to compute the equity component, we'll deduct the liability component that we just calculated with the proceeds of the issue. So this was all about the liability versus equity classification. Hope you found this useful. Please do like and share this video. Also do subscribe to my channel for such informative content. Do let me know your queries, suggestions in the comment box below. Also you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I have provided my profile link in the description below. Thanks for watching.